Now, in yet another move that would spiral political tensions in Bangladesh, the chairperson of Bangladesh's main opposition party and his wife have been sentenced to jail. Tarique Rahman, chief of Bangladesh Nationalist Party, as well as the son of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, has been sentenced to 9 years in jail, while his wife has been sentenced to 3 years behind bars. They are accused of accumulating wealth beyond their declared income, as well as concealing information regarding it. Rahman has also been slapped a fine worth $273,000, failing which his jail term will get extended by 3 months. His wife, who is a professional doctor, has been fined around $54,000. The couple have been living in London since 2008 and had been declared fugitives by the court as they failed to appear in person to face the trial. The Anti-Corruption Commission had filed the case against them in 2007 when a military-backed caretaker government was running the country. Now the arrest has sparked protests from the opposition, who staged demonstrations in the capital of Dhaka and also chanted anti-government slogans. Opposition had already been protesting in recent weeks, demanding a caretaker government to conduct the upcoming polls. Opposition protesters claim that voting would be rigged under the current government that is being led by Sheikh Hasina. Both the opposition and ruling parties have been holding grand rallies in show of strength in the past few weeks. Now, for more on this development, we are being joined by Shamsher Chowdhury. He's a former diplomat from Bangladesh. Welcome to the broadcast. Do you see this decision spiraling political tensions in Bangladesh?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. You see, as you said in your own introductory remarks, that political violence and political agitations, actions, counteractions between the major opposition forces and the ruling party has been happening in Bangladesh over the last couple of weeks, couple of months. Understandably, the BNP will feel aggrieved with this latest court ruling, especially the timing of it. With 4 months to go before the, 6 months to go before the next election. Tarique Rahman, of course, is the acting chairperson of BNP, not the chairperson. Now, the BNP will see this as a politically motivated ruling, which they have already said that this is a politically motivated ruling. But the fact remains that it is a decision of the court. And so one has to go by the ruling of the judiciary. Of course, there is scope for appeal, I guess, but this is not the first time that Mr. Tarique Rahman has been sentenced for wrongdoing, for corruption and other things, including, I think, the assassination attempt on Sheikh Hasina when she was leader of the opposition in 2004. And he has been framed, I think, if I remember right, he's been framed on that one too. The opposition is also, the BNP is also saying that this has been deliberately done so that even his wife, Zubaida Rahman, becomes unqualified from contesting the next election.
Right.
Because under our law, a convicted person cannot contest an election for a certain number of years. And so this will cover this period. It will, of course, add to the tension that's prevailing. How effective that will be, how long that kind of thing will run, is for one has to wait and see.
All right.
Right now, the government is the present government is in quite a strong position. And
all right, Mr. Chowdhury, since you mentioned that specifically, and you mentioned the timing of this ruling, I want to bring in another point. The opposition is claiming that elections that you say are 6 months away under the current government that is being led by Sheikh Hasina will not be free and fair. I want to ask you, do you think this is baseless accusation or is there any truth to it?
Well, you see, this argument that the opposition is making is because of their experience of the last election, which was held in 2018. And that election was certainly controversial, to say the least. And but there has been a culture of total distrust between the major political parties, especially when it comes to election time. That is why we had a practice of non-party election time, neutral election time, caretaker government, which was a part of the Constitution incorporated into our Constitution in 1996, but in 2011 it was done away with under the orders of a court. So under our current Constitution, the present Constitution, the elections have to be held under the government in office. What is important here is the powers that our election commission enjoys are actually immense. And it is up to the election commission to be able to exercise that power. There is a feeling among political parties, some political parties in Bangladesh, that the election commission do not exercise the powers that they have. And they're seen as being kind of, complicit in elections that are flawed. So this is an argument that the opposition is making. Right. So one has to wait and see how this current election commission performs leading to the next election. It is a very critical time for Bangladesh because,
absolutely,
over the last election and the one in 2014, because of the way the elections were conducted, a huge portion of the population could not even vote. So there's a generation of young voters who had not been able to vote before, and they would like to vote now. But if the distrust remains deep, the fear is that the new generation will lose interest in voting and all that, and that is not something healthy for Bangladesh, because we as a nation love to vote. Yeah. So one hopes that the election commission will perform the role that has been given to them properly and effectively.
All right, Mr. Chowdhury. Thank you for all those insights. And as you say, crucial times ahead for Bangladesh, and we will keep covering this story because it's extremely important, not just for democracy in Bangladesh, but elsewhere. And as you mentioned, the chunk of the new voters that is going to come in, it's absolutely crucial how they vote, and we can only hope that they don't lose interest, as you say. Thank you for joining us on this broadcast, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you so very much.